All right, we got it. And look at that. We've got bumper music and everything.
Ready to go.
We've got, yeah, I mean, we are.
I'm
It's
one
like,
of the only people that chair dances in these intro sessions, right? And I think we're missing out. I think we're missing an opportunity to set a tone for a meeting, especially an online meeting.
that's right.
When
If
you
you're
get a little
sharing
wiggle,
sound, if you're using the Zoom approved music app in the marketplace, there's a music app which has royalty free music that you can play during your meetings. Why not start your meetings off and do your demo dance there?
so who doesn't like a little chair dance?
You know, Tony Harris is the king of this. Every call that we're on that has music, he is dancing like crazy. So our music actually stopped now.
Yeah,
But our podcast intro music is now over, so we can't dance anymore. But
it's done.
hey, uh, everyone, welcome to the inaugural podcast here. I don't really know too much about podcasting, Eric. Do you?
I don't.
Have
I've
you
been
ever
on a few.
participated in a podcast before?
I have. I have.
You have. You have participated in one. Have you ever authored your own podcast before?
I have not. Is it similar to a courtroom deposition?
It does not count as podcasting if it's in front of a judge. So,
Oh, in that case, no. I have not had to do the pleasure.
so I don't even know if I have the necessary equipment. I will say that, as you probably gathered, that Eric and I are not actually in the Zoom kitchen together because if I put my arm out, it mysteriously gets cut off over here. So we're actually using immersive scenes, which is a great way if you're going to do a video podcast.
Yeah.
It looks like we're kind of in the same room. Like if I turn, like, "Hey, Eric, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great. How are you?
Did you finish the toast in the toaster back here?"
I did. I burnt it. I
Oh,
burnt it.
good, good, good.
Um,
And
yeah,
occasionally we get a glimpse of your background as well. So
just a little bit, which
yeah.
is always gets me. Virtual backgrounds versus non-virtual backgrounds, and in fact, I heard something very interesting for the first time ever since being at Zoom. I was talking to some partners, and they actually have a policy in their company to not use virtual backgrounds.
Oh yeah, I came from this nice. I had a nice background like you do, and then when I came to Zoom, everyone used virtual backgrounds. So I decided, in my infinite wisdom, that I would grab a bucket of paint and paint my. Oh, you just look at that! Look at that! You can see right through me because
Right
it's
through.
the key color of the wall, which is green, bright green. Chroma key green is what my wall is painted. And so I don't have the nice, like, cool background that you have, the natural background, because everyone always wanted to use these graphic templates behind people. And so now when you get on a call with me, you'd either see a green screen or an actual, you know, virtual background.
Yep. And that's an interesting. I'm very curious to see if that. So their reasoning behind not using a virtual background was it gave the other meeting participants a greater view into their life.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, all you know about me is that I'm one of the few people who've painted a wall green in my house.
Very true. And that you have the sweet, sweet tones of a professional musician.
Oh yes, well, the speaking of sounds and tones, I'm curious to hear what you are using for. So we're talking about maybe the podcast setup, right? The ideal podcast
Yep.
setup, and really extends into your Zoom life as well. Because if you're sitting in front of your desk and you're using a microphone and you're in meetings all day, you're kind of a podcaster already. So all these
A
folks that
little
are doing
bit.
Zoom meetings all day long, you're kind of doing your own interactive podcast with everybody that
For
you're
sure. For
joining.
sure.
I have tried through the years. I have tried a variety of different microphones.
Yes.
I'm actually talking to you now, and the one that I have found the most reliable. This is not an advertisement. I'm not getting paid by these folks, but I actually love their microphone, and that is this one right here.
I am so jealous of that. I
It's the
need to order
Tula
one.
mic. It's Tula mic. I think tulamics.com, something like that. The
Hashtag Tula
key,
Mike.
Yeah,
If they're if,
TU
if they're listening
TULA.
now, don't be afraid to reach out to eric.truex@zoom.us. send you my address. We love endorsements. We are not for sale, however, we can be rented.
That's right. The Tula mic, for instance, um, the reason I like it, well, I don't even use it for the full functionality. It can stand alone as its own, like, you remember the old, like, you had a tape recorder dictaphone? You would press
Yes.
the record button and it would record. It actually has memory in it, storage in it, memory. Um, it has a battery in it, so you could take it offline, use it as a musician.
Oh,
I can
very
use
nice.
this and record the band playing. Like we're all practicing, record a practice session, and then play it back later. It has like a flash storage drive on it, and I can just plug it in and listen to it USB. It's actually USB-C, which makes me feel like it's a little bit more current than everything else
A
that's
little
out
bit,
there.
a little bit, a little bit more current.
But I like it actually because it gives a full range of audio spectrum with a very minimal footprint. Because I've got my
Huge.
monitors. My monitors are 3 inches off my desk. Like the bottom of the monitor is 3 inches off. So I used to have the blue Yeti microphone, which I still have over here off to the side.
Oh
And
yeah, the
this,
monster.
this thing
The
is
I put
huge. I
this.
can't use it. But have you ever been on a call with somebody who puts this on the desk?
I swear, people put that thing right next to him to show, like, oh look, I paid a lot of money to have this thing. It's almost like holding up the Emmy after you win for that picture post. Like, look at
Yes.
all of this here,
Yes. That
and that's not my thing. That's not my thing.
the
But
heck the hell of it is the Tula mic was more expensive than the giant like the blue mic. I
but
don't
it
even
doesn't
show
have
the
to
Tula.
be as pretentious.
No, it doesn't. No
And
offense to
Yeti,
anyone
how
who's
did
using the
Yeti
blue.
break out from? When did Yeti? What came first, the Yeti coolers or the Yeti mics? And how did those two industries combine?
I
Is it
don't know.
not the
And
same company?
I have a feeling that people think the same thing. If you go to Amazon and you type in Zoom, you're going to find a bunch of Zoom
It's true.
hardware as
It's true.
well that is not affiliated with the Zoom that we
Nothing to
are
do with
talking
us.
about here today. So, I think it's only fitting that I do a quick test of the Yeti X. So I'm going to count
I
to
like
10
it.
here, and I'm going to
So let's get a control sentence.
yeah. Well, oh, you want a sentence, not just counting to 10. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm talking here. I'm talking here through my Tula mic, and midstream, pressed. I actually pressed my button to change to the blue Yeti, which I am now on, and I'm actually talking fairly close to it. It sounds pretty darn good, I would imagine, because it's a big, giant microphone. And it also, which I really love, I love these two features of this mic. It has a gain control on it,
That's very cool.
which I love gain controls because if you're going to be farther away from your desk or farther away from your mic, you need to turn up the gain a little bit, and a lot of mics don't offer that functionality. The other thing I like is on the back, you can actually change it to what type of pattern you want. So I've got it on a cardioid pattern now. I could change it to figure
Nice.
whatever that thing is. It's like blurred out on my camera, so I can't see what that's
No,
on.
no, I see it. I see it perfectly. Now, John, would you call yourself an audiophile?
No, I wouldn't go that far. Like
I
I'm just
I
trying
I
to do
would
what's
think you
best.
are.
I'm just trying to do what sounds best
Hmm.
for for any call that I'm on, whether it's Zoom, Teams, GoTo, anybody that any of these meetings that I jump on throughout the day. I want it to sound. I want to put my best foot forward. One of the things that I hate most, and I'm going to switch back to my.
Oh, I'm very curious because I have a thought on the thing I hate most related to sound quality,
Okay,
and it bugs the crap out of me.
I bet
And
I
I'm
know what it
curious if
is.
it's the same thing.
So I get on a lot of
You're gonna put
calls.
them in your ear. Yes, yes. Preach it, preach it, preach
I
it.
get on a lot of calls, and so if this is you, then I am talking to you right now. If you do this, people get on their AirPods, and
Hmm.
Apple is very maniacal that they make a good product, right?
They used
This
to be.
is one of the, and this admittedly, this is not the newest version of AirPods. I don't even know what,
Doesn't need to be
but people use these all the time,
all the time.
and I cannot understand. It's like you're on the call with them. You got 12 people on the
So,
call, and then the one guy who has got these AirPods in, you can't understand a word that he's saying because it's so garbled.
so
And
here's the problem with that, and it's one of the biggest issues I have with using those personal type devices in a business application is those are intended to sound good. That is what their design was. And I mean, literally, that's one of Apple's key features is music and sound receiving, not sending. That was never their core intention. So when you use that personal device on a business application, yeah, I might sound good to you because I took the time to have a certified device. I don't know what the hell you're saying because it's all
So I'm
not a
curious to
great
see what you
experience.
think these sound like. I'm talking through them now.
So much worse.
It's using the microphone on my AirPods. My none of my expensive mics are being used at all.
And
I'm
I
in a
believe you
non
have a
noisy
Mac.
environment. I'm
You
in a
have a
non
Mac.
and I have a
Right.
Mac. So like opening the case, they've never even actually paired with this computer, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to pair?" And I'm like connected. It's like boom. Now I'm using the AirPods, which is
Oh, so much
crazy
worse.
simple. So, like 10 points for making it super easy for the user to use. But when you're in a call with 12 people and you've got everyone's at their sound level, everyone's at this level, then you've got the person who's on AirPods that's down here and you can't understand the word. And I'm in a controlled environment where there's no noise. I could turn my TV up a little. Let's see. Let's see with a little bit of noise in the background here. Now I've got the news on the TV,
Oh, I'm catching
and
little bits
now
of it.
I'm wondering if how much of it
Oh,
actually
you're
comes
killing
through
me.
because I'm in a noisy office environment. There's people talking, and I don't want to talk too
There we go.
loud because I'm
Ah,
in a cube, and I want to make sure you can hear what I'm saying. That's that's what I'm used to hearing when I'm on calls with people with
with
these
people do
on,
this.
and I
So
don't think that I don't think
if
they
I see
know
the
because no one
little
ever
thing,
tells them, right?
so there is an alternative that works on occasion for this. If you really want to hide the speaker sound, right? You don't want to be on speaker. However, knowing that the microphones on those things are not good, if you're not in a public environment, what you can do is you use the speaker of your AirPods and the microphone of your machine because literally the microphone on the machine can generally, because you're facing your machine,
It's
can
better.
pick up better.
Yeah.
Now, this only works in a quiet environment where you are not in a public, like if you're at a coffee shop or something like that, it's obviously not going to work out. But you can
Right.
do that, and that's an option you've had.
Yeah, you
Um,
can change your microphone source from your actual speaker source. It is
yeah,
possible. And I've done that here with you as well. I've actually got you coming through a Poly Sync 20 device, which is
good
down on
device.
my desk. It's pointed towards me. I could use that as a microphone. I think it
Mhm.
actually sounds pretty decent. Let's see what you.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking to you through PolySync. PolySync is probably about
So
3 feet away.
so I would, if I was ranking the four devices we've seen so far,
Yeah.
by far the worst, your AirPods, like in a significant worst. Number two, three, and four are close, but there's a definitive ranking. Two was the PolySync, three was the Tula, and for the best sounding, the Yeti
Really? So you think the PolySync is better than the Tula?
had more range.
Wow. So maybe I need to start using this little guy. I'm surprised.
As
That,
long as you lean in with a cup of coffee, I don't have a cup, but if you just lean in with that cup, lean into the mic, and you're, John Nelms coming to you live with a
so
podcast where we're going to be talking about all the sweet, sweet sufferings of online meetings and how to sound good.
what are you using right now?
Okay, good question. I have an individual office, and so I hate being on headphones constantly.
Yep.
So I'm using the Logi dock, right?
Okay.
Props to Logi. I think they made a really good sounding dock, and I think the mic pickup is pretty good. And is it the best? No. But one of the cool benefits of the Logi dock is its simplicity, right? You have all these different devices plugged into it. You have uh, um, monitors, keyboard, mouse, my webcams, all the stuff like Logi, Brio webcam. So I obviously got some Logi representation on my desk. I have the Logi keyboard and mouse even, right?
Yeah.
So they have a very good synchronicity between their devices, and the mic pickup is good. And I can have one cable. This is the part I love. I'm choosing convenience over quality a little bit on this because I can take one cable and plug it into my
Uh,
laptop And that's a USB cable that is both my docking station, charging, and everything. And I get everything out of that one cable. So I get that convenience. Now, there are times when I need to elevate the quality over convenience. So also plugged in, I have several devices here based on situation. If it's a long day and I want comfort, but I want to hear other things going on in my environment, I don't like the two big ear things because I get a little freaked out that I can't hear anything around me.
So,
I have this device right here, right?
oh, that's about similar to what I've got, I guess.
Very similar. It's one ear though, right? So this happens to be
Oh,
the
is that right?
Jabra. So I can put this on, right?
That's cute.
Mute, unmute based on that.
Yeah.
And it gives me one ear, which I appreciate. That's a great comfort thing. At
Yeah.
times, especially if somebody's wearing those stupid AirPods, I want to be able to hear really well. So I actually use the Jabra 85Ts like this, right? So now this allows me to get a better experience for that. Here, let me switch over to them real quick.
I can hear nothing from you right now, so here's zero audio, so not the greatest example there.
I picked the wrong device. So
They're super quiet now. Like your voice just got real quiet.
Okay, now you can hear
Now,
me through
there we
these.
go. All right. I got you now.
So here's one of the issues. Funny enough, it's one of the issues I have with having multiple headsets, multiple types of devices. I don't always remember which one's which.
Yeah.
So that was so, and obviously before a meeting I would join, I would test those out to make sure I knew what it was. The interesting thing about this headset is also Jabra. It's a decked headset. So John, you may ask, what's the difference between a decked headset and a regular headset? Well, I'll tell you. Most headsets utilize either RF or Bluetooth. Great quality for a very short range. DeX headsets allow a much greater range. I can go 100 feet away from my desk and never lose connection with this device. Phenomenal feature when I want to be much more mobile. I want to be just able to walk around, do things like, so I work from home, as a lot of us do. I could be out there cooking. I can go down almost all the way down to the end of my property line and still be on this conversation. I can hit the mute button. I can control that right from the device. So it's a really easy way for me to be able to control that experience.
This is not a decked headset that I am on. I am on Bluetooth, which means I can go maybe to my kitchen, but probably not. And I I don't have nearly the range. Hopefully, maybe not too bad of sound quality here. I don't know. You tell me. What do you think of how it sounds coming out of this little Jabra Evolve 75?
Yes, and they are very good. So I switched over to this one. How does this quality sound?
It sounds slightly compressed, and I
Oh, I
think that's some on on some Bluetooth devices. I think that may be actually why this sounds so bad sometimes. Is there's quite a bit of compression that takes place in that audio channel.
absolutely. But for my daily driver, what I am normally doing
Yeah, what did we
is
hear you on before? Was that just your
the
laptop microphone?
no, that was the Logi dock. That's
That
that's
was through
that's
the
the
Logidock then. Okay,
yep.
because I
Yep.
notice a lot of people actually use like if you think about your computer speaker, if you're using a laptop, your microphone is placed in a position on that device so that it picks up your voice because you're going to be looking at the screen. They place it there with the intention of you attending these types of calls. Now, if your fans are throttled up and things like that on the call, it may not sound so good, but the whole intent is that it's going to sound better than if you're using your cheap AirPods, for
true.
example. And they're not cheap. I shouldn't say they're cheap because they're not. They're pretty expensive. Um, the other thing that I've noticed people using is actually the microphone that is in the camera. If they've
The
got like
webcam.
a webcam.
Phone. So I'm going to switch to that now. I'm actually on.
Oh,
I'm on my Poly. No. Not my Poly. It's a Logi Brio. What do you think?
I would put it as number 2. Still far and above the
Wait, it's number
AirPods.
2?
Number
It
2.
sounds that good?
No. Number 2 is bad. 1 is
So,
worst. AirPods. This is
oh,
number
you're
2.
saying this is not a ranking system. This is just like a star system. It's 2
This is
stars.
an order. I should have gone the other way.
Wait,
I
it is
would
an
put
order
it
or it
as,
is not an order?
so there's
I'm so
5.
confused.
Okay, we're gonna start over.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say that 1 is now best. 5 is worst.
Okay, so the
Okay,
first
the
is the
top
best.
sounding was the Yeti,
The Yeti Blue.
and followed by
X,
the
yeah.
Tula, followed by the Polysync, followed by your Brio, and then a distance later your AirPods. So now I have switched to the actual Jabra 85T headsets, right?
okay. Yeah.
So the nice thing about this is I get to make sure. So I have hearing loss, right? And so the upper and lower ranges are difficult for me to hear. One of the nice things about this is it helps me isolate external noises without blocking all of my hearing.
Okay. So it gives you some noise. What do they call it? Active noise cancellation or something like that.
Yep. So
Yeah.
the ANC feature in these is really, really nice. While still allowing me to, in situations, make sure I'm picking up good sound from others. So how do I sound though? Because these
You
are
actually
way
sound
back here.
really good. I would, if I had to rate yours, I would rate those that you're wearing above the other 2 headsets that you tried.
I like that.
I would put it maybe even slightly above what you were using on the dock.
I like that.
Only
and these
because
are comfortable.
I got more of maybe your ambient. There was a different presence to you, more of an echoey, chambery type feel on the dock because it was not picking up this like more localized. I've read that some of these earpieces, they do a better job with resonance. So when you talk, you're vibrating your jawbone and it's actually allowing the sound to travel and enter into the microphones on the actual earbuds. And so perhaps I'm getting a little bit more of that, which gives it a more dynamic feel and less ambient audio for the room.
So back to my statement about you being an audiophile. Yeah, you just kind of settled that. That was that's over.
I am
just so you know, you are an
all
audiophile.
right. And on that note, I appreciate everyone taking the time to listen.
Maybe
to
next we talk about proper lighting because I look like I've just stepped out of a cave from the 1950s, and you look like you just stepped off the beach.
I had to bring in. We'll talk about lighting next time.
I like it.
I did. Thanks everyone for watching. We will see you on the non-inaugural edition of the podcast next.
The second round. Saving it for the sequel.
Round, yeah, I'm sure we'll get fan mail, people telling us exactly what we should not be doing.
Both of you, thank you for being
here. I hope that they have the courtesy to tell us what we did wrong in this session. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Look forward to talking to you next time.
See ya.